Tawaaf is so significant. It's something we see. It makes a magnificent emotional connection, but there are certainly do's and don'ts in terms of what is the Tawaaf and how go about doing it. Tell us about that.
So, Tawaaf from a spiritual perspective is it's not about the physical movement of the external body around the Kaaba, but it's more about that heart moving around that which is symbolic of Allah's grandeur and splendor. And also, it's factoring in that at any given point, from all the different directions facing the Kaaba, which is the entire globe, there's psychic energy that's generated towards this, because this is the Qibla. This is the point of reference, not only in Salah, but the point of reference for any Muslims. It's almost as if when you think Muslim, you know that this is the direction in which they face. So, in everyone facing the Kaaba and you being honored to be actually moving around the Kaaba, it creates this sense of spirituality within you. Also, if one looks at Tawaaf being undertaken from the roof of the Grand Mosque or the Noble Sanctuary, then one would see almost this whirl of people moving in an anti-clockwise direction. This is also significant because it's the same direction in which the earth rotates.
Yeah.
And it's also the same direction, you could say, in which we tie our hands in prayer, because it's the left hand and then the right hand over the left hand, which is the similar anti-clockwise direction. So it's almost as if this ritual is resetting that biological clock and that physical clock of yourself, and resetting it on all levels: the intellectual or the mental, the emotional, the physical, the spiritual.
And what should be the big takeout from the Tawaaf?
The big takeout from Tawaaf is melting into the sea of people and getting rid of the I. I am, I was, I did, I achieved, and actually embracing the we. So from a physical perspective, you don't many a times enjoy lots of personal space in Tawaaf. It's your back on someone, it's your chest on someone else's back, and it's people with different feet sizes, sometimes tramping over your toes, etc., etc. But it's being able to keep your cool mentally while undertaking this ritual that is physical, but also connecting spiritually. And the prescribed litany or adhkar that we have in Tawaaf is the recitation of what we refer to as the third kalima: Subhanallah walhamdulillah wa la ilaha illallah wallahu akbar wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim. Glory be to Allah, and all praise be to Allah. And Allah is the greatest, and there is no might and power except Allah, the Most High, the Most Great. There is none worthy of worship except Allah, the Most High, the Most Great. So it's reciting this around this symbol of Allah's grandeur and splendor reminds one of Allah's greatness and our insignificance. And this is how you undertake the Tawaaf. The spirituality comes out from the sense, the take home comes out from the sense of knowing that I've got rid of the I and I've embraced the we. I will no longer be the selfish individual I was, relatively speaking, to before the Tawaaf and after the Tawaaf. I will now strive to be a more selfless person who always factors in the other.
And the other, which is the significance of the Tawaaf, which is the only form of worship you can't do anywhere else. How much significance do you attach to that?
So this being the unique site in the world as the center of the earth where you can undertake Tawaaf means that priority is given to this as an optional form of worship, as opposed to many other forms of worship that you would undertake anywhere else. In the month of Ramadan, we know we would increase our salah, so lengthier units of prayer we would observe with much more recitation of Quran. In Makkah al-Mukarramah, at the Haram, at the Kaaba, we give preference to Tawaaf, and this is showing that I'm fortunate to be here. This is the only site in the world where I may undertake this form of ibadah and worship, and hence I give preference to it over other forms of worship.
How many Tawaafs should one perform?
As many as one can, but knowing that it's a Tawaaf that must be of quality. So we don't look only at quantity. We look at, as best as possible, upping the game, outdoing yourself and outdoing others in terms of quantity.
I'm going to ask you that. What's the difference between the average, ordinary Tawaaf and the one of quality? How does that manifest?
The one of quality is manifested by you having a sense of fulfillment afterwards. As it would be with someone doing different reps when they're picking up weights, they gauge. Earlier in the session, this is what I did. Yesterday in the session, this is what I did. Last week in the session, this is what I did. And that's where the interplay between quality and quantity comes in. Many people would spend hours on end continuously doing Tawaaf. But ask them, what's the difference between the first and the third and the 8th and the 9th? No, I just made so many Tawaafs, 10, 12, 15. Whereas for the one who wants quantity, after each Tawaaf, which is 7 rounds around the Kaaba and 2 units of prayer behind the station of Ibrahim, Maqam Ibrahim, as we refer to it, one would ask myself, was this better than the Tawaaf I've done previously? All built into with the idea of, at the very end, I am building capacity for the most important Tawaaf of my life, which is the Tawaaf or Ziyarah, or the Tawaaf ul-Ifada, the Tawaaf of Hajj, undertaken on either the 10th, 11th, 12th or 13th day of Hajj.
So Tawaafs generally are important, and you can do as many as you like, but during the Hajj there's an added significance around it.
Yes, there's an added significance because this then becomes one of the important rituals during the days of Hajj, from all the rituals that need to be executed.
Okay, just the prayer behind, you mentioned Maqam Ibrahim. What's the significance of that?
The station of Ibrahim was, we could say, the scaffolding used by the Prophet Abraham and his son Ismail as his aid and assistance in terms of constructing this ancient house, Al-Bayt Al-Atiq, as we refer to it in Islamic literature. The ancient house meaning this cubic structure, the Kaaba. So Allah had used this as the place that allowed them to be able to raise till the actual height of the Kaaba today. And we know it's not beyond Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be able to use certain things that may seem inanimate and not powered hydraulically or pneumatically, but this was their scaffolding that they used to construct the Kaaba. And Allah has mentioned in Quran, وَإِذْ جَعَلْنَا الْبَيْتَ مَثَابَةً لِلنَّاسِ وَأَمْنًا وَاتَّخِذُوا مِن مَقَامِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ مُصَلًّى. And we have made this house as a fortified place and as a place of safety. وَاتَّخِذُوا مِن مَقَامِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ. And we have taken out for you, we have extracted for you the Maqam Ibrahim, the station of Ibrahim, as a musalla, as a place of prayer. So in keeping with that verse of Quran, we observe 2 units of prayer behind it after every 7 rounds walking around the Kaaba.